Good morning students. In this lecture 58 we will discuss the stabilization and stability factor of a transistor. So in the previous lecture we have discussed that how the operating point of the transistor, it shifts with the temperature, and we have already discussed about thermal runaway condition in case of a transistor. Because of the rise in temperature of the transistor, there is increase in the collector current, and because of that cumulative effect a loop begins, and because of which the transistor, it burns out, and that is known as thermal runaway. Now we will discuss about stabilization and stability factor. So far we have discussed that how operating point, it shifts because of two reasons. One, because of the variations in the parameters of the transistor, like current gain. It will change if you replace the transistor by another transistor. So because of when you replace one transistor with another transistor, there will be change in beta. So because of the variation in the transistor parameters, operating point, it shifts. And another factor, that is temperature, it also shifts with the variation in the temperature. So because of these variations in transistor parameter and temperature, we know that what happens, collector current will change, and the value of operating point, it depends upon the value of collector current and VCC. So this will further change our operating point. So what we need to do is, we have to make this collector current IC independent of transistor parameters and temperature. Or this collector current, we should make this variation in collector current as small as possible, so that corresponding to that very small change, the operating point of the transistor, it almost remains fixed, and that is known as stabilization. So we need to stabilize the operating point, but to stabilize the operating point, we need to stabilize the value of collector current. There should be no variation in collector current or variation in collector current. It should be as small as possible, so that operating point remains almost fixed. And this is known as stabilization. And the stabilization of any transistor, or the stabilization of operating point of any transistor, it is measured by this factor, which is known as stability factor, and it is denoted by S, and it is the ratio of the change in collector current to the corresponding change in leakage current. So this change in collector current with respect to the change in leakage current, it must be as small as possible. Only then the transistor and the operating point of the transistor will be stable. So here, for any transistor and its operating point to be in stable condition, this S, it should be as small as possible. If the value of S is high, it means it will cause thermal runaway of our transistor. It means that transistor, it will be thermally unstable. Or you can say that high value of stability factor S means higher thermal instability of the transistor. So this stability factor, what it measures, as you can see, it measures that how this collector current, it changes with the leakage current. So stability factor, it tells us about that how does the collector current, it changes with leakage current. And one other factor is that smaller is the value of stability factor S, more will be the thermal stability. And ideally, the value of S, that is always 1, but practically it is always greater than 1. Means practically there is always some variation of IC with the variation in leakage current. So this S is equal to 1, practically or normally it is not achievable, because it is always greater than 1. Next thing is, we have discussed about thermal runaway of a transistor. And what was the thermal runaway? It is the condition or the situation when, because of the variation in temperature, number of minority carriers increases, and if the number of minority carriers flowing across the collector emitter junction it increases, it will increase the leakage current, and this increase in leakage current, what it will do? It will further increase the value of collector current, and if the value of collector current increases, it will further raise the temperature of the transistor, or it will further raise the temperature of the collector emitter junction of the transistor, and which will further increase the number of minority carriers flowing across the junction, which will further increase the leakage current, and this further increase in leakage current, it will further increase this collector current, which will further increase the temperature. So in this way, this cumulative effect, it will burn out the transistor, and this condition is known as thermal runaway of transistor. So how can we avoid this situation of thermal runaway of a transistor? So practically, what we have to control is increase in the collector current. There should be very small increase in the collector current, very small variation in collector current with respect to the variations in the temperature. So we know that the expression for collector current is this. In case of common emitter configuration, beta IB plus beta plus 1 ICBU. So what happens is that when temperature increases, it increases this leakage current, and which increases this overall factor, and when this overall factor increases, it further increases this collector current. But to control the increase in this collector current, what we can do is, if this factor, it decreases by the same amount to compensate the increase in this factor, then overall variation in the value of IC, it will be very small, and there will be no thermal runaway, or we can avoid thermal runaway by decreasing the base current, because if this base current will decrease, then this overall factor, it will decrease, and it will compensate the increase in this factor because of temperature. So in this way we can avoid the thermal runaway of transistor. So now you can read this. Next is, there is another expression of stability factor in case of common emitter configuration, which is known as general expression of stability factor in common emitter configuration. Now we will derive that. So we know that stability factor, it is the ratio of change in collector current with respect to the change in leakage current. So first of all, what is the value of collector current in case of common emitter configuration? We know that it is equal to this. Now differentiate this equation with respect to IC, because then we will have here ICBO divided by IC. So differentiate this equation 1 with respect to IC. Here we will have DIC by DIC, it will be 1. Beta is constant. Here we will have DIB by DIC. This is actually D. It is not curly, it is D. Differential D, and here beta plus 1 is constant. Here we will have DICBO by DIC. So we have this equation. Now we have to find the value of this term, because it is directly related to stability factor. It is the reciprocal of the stability factor. So we need to find the value of this. So move this term to this side, you will get this. Then move this beta plus 1 to the other side, it will be divided on the other side. And what is the formula of stability factor? It is the reciprocal of this. So taking reciprocal of this whole equation, and you will get this expression. So this is the general expression of stability factor in case of common emitter configuration. Now to solve all these problems, the problem of shifting of operating point with the transistor, thermal runaway of transistor, each and everything, faithful amplification in case of a transistor. So to solve all these problems, what we need is the proper biasing of transistor. But so far we have discussed that how the biasing of transistor is done. For the forward biasing of emitter base junction in common emitter configuration, that is forward biased with the battery VBB, and the output circuit, which is the collector emitter junction in case of collector emitter configuration of the transistor. Collector emitter junction is reverse biased by using the battery VCC. It means so far we have discussed that for input circuit we need separate battery for the biasing, and for the biasing of the output circuit we have used separate battery. But actually this type of biasing in practice it is not used. Practically only single battery is used for biasing the input and output circuits of the transistor. So there are some methods, most commonly used methods of transistor biasing by using single source of supply, and those four methods are, there are four methods, they are very important. First method of transistor biasing by using single source of supply, that is fixed biasing. It is also known as base biasing or base resistor biasing. And the second method of transistor biasing is by using the single source of supply, that is base bias but with emitter feedback. So we will discuss all these one by one. Third one is collector to base bias, and last one is one of the most important, voltage divider bias with emitter bias. So first we will discuss fixed biasing or base bias or base resistor biasing method in detail. Now in case of fixed biasing, this is the circuit of fixed biasing, as it is also known as base resistor method. Why? Because here we have used a base resistor RB, and the value of this RB, it is adjusted in this way that it controls the value of base current, and which further controls the value of collector current, so that the operating point of the transistor, it lies in the middle of the load line. So here we have used common emitter configuration of the transistor amplifier. NPN, here we have used NPN transistor. So as you can see, for the biasing of, this is input circuit and this one is output circuit, and for the biasing of both input and output circuits we have used single source of supply, that is plus VCC. So we have used single battery, and this single battery, it is forward biasing the input junction and it is reverse biasing the output junction. So as you can see, this is base, this one is emitter and this one is collector. And what will be the voltage across this base emitter junction? It will be VBE. And what will be the output voltage across this collector emitter junction? It will be VCE. So as you can see, this emitter is N-type, base is P-type, and it is connected to positive terminal of the battery VCC. So this VCC, it is forward biasing this base emitter junction. And then on this side, this collector, it is of N-type and it is connected to positive terminal of the battery VCC. It means this VCC, it is reverse biasing this collector or reverse biasing the collector emitter junction. So now you can read this, which I have already told you about, that here a very high resistance RB of the order of kilo ohms, it is connected between the source of supply, that is positive terminal of the supply source plus VCC, and the base. And here we have chosen single battery. And why we are choosing this RB? That because of RB, this is known as base resistor method. And the value of RB once chosen, then it is fixed, which further fixes the value of the base current and further fixes the value of the operating point in the middle of the load line. So that is why it is also known as fixed biasing. So here we have chosen the value of RB in such a way that controlled value of, fixed value of base current, it flows through the circuit, and what this fixed value of base current will do? It will fix the value of collector current. So we will choose that value of RB corresponding to which this resultant collector current, its value, it corresponds to the operating point which lies in the middle of the load line. So I am drawing the circuit again for the convenience. So now we will find the values of IB, RB, IC by using Kirchhoff's voltage law. So first apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to the input circuit. And what is the input circuit? This. This is the input circuit. And the voltage between this base and emitter, it is VBE. This voltage is VBE. So apply Kirchhoff's voltage law. Apply KVL to the input circuit. So what it will be? It will be VCC so this VCC, it will be, this is positive, positive signs are not alternate, so it will be VCC minus IBRB minus VBE, it is equal to 0. So this implies VCC, it is equal to IBRB plus VBE, and from this equation you can find the value of base current IB and you can also find the value of RB. So what will be the value of base current IB? It will be used in the numericals. So you don't need to learn the formula. You just have to learn this, remember this circuit and apply KVL to the input circuit for the formula and apply KVL to the output circuit for the desired formula. So this VCC minus VBE divided by RB, this will give you the value of base current. So the value of RB, it is chosen high to control the value of, to keep the value of this base current small. So if base current will be small, then beta IB factor will be small. So the value of IC will be small, so that this IC, because of that value of IC, the operating point, it lies, approximately lies in the middle of the load line. So from this expression you can find the value of base current in any numerical. And you will see that in case of numericals, the value of this VBE, it will not given. Why? Because in case of silicon transistor, this VBE, it is 0.7 volt. And in case of germanium transistor, this VBE, it is 0.3 volt. So you have to remember this. And in case of theory, because we know that this is VCC power supply and this is VBE, the voltage across base emitter junction, which is 0.7 volt in case of silicon transistor and 0.3 volt in case of germanium transistor. It means this is very small as compared to this VCC. So in theory, what we do is we neglect this value as compared to this. But in case of numericals, we will not neglect. We will only neglect this value in case of numericals if they haven't mentioned that the transistor is silicon or germanium. If it is mentioned that transistor is made up of silicon or germanium, then you cannot neglect this value of VBE in case of numericals. It will only be neglected when it is not mentioned in the statement that given transistor is silicon or germanium. So here in theory, we know that this VCC, its value is greater than, quite greater than this VBE. So that is why we will neglect this VBE as compared to VCC. So what will be the value of IB then? it will be VCC upon RB. Or from this expression, if the value of RB and VCC is given, then you can calculate base current, and if value of base current and VCC is given, then you can calculate the value of base resistor, that is RB. So what will be RB? RB will be VCC upon IB. So here, once the value of this RB is fixed, then it will stay fixed in the circuit, and it will, as the value of VCC is also fixed. So because of these two fixed values, the value of IB is also fixed in the circuit. That is why this circuit is known as fixed biasing circuit. So now consider the output circuit. In the output circuit, what is the output current? It is the collector current. And the collector current is given by, we know that in common emitter configuration, this is equal to beta IB plus beta plus 1 ICBO, and this whole factor in common emitter configuration, this is equal to ICEO. And we know that this leakage current at any particular temperature, the value of this leakage current, it is very small as compared to this factor. So we can ignore this factor as compared to this beta IB. So therefore, now you will write this as this beta IB, it is greater than this ICEO. So we can neglect this factor, and this implies this collector current, it is given by this beta IB. And suppose this was our equation A, this was our equation B, this was our equation C, and this is our equation D. Now apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to the output circuit. So what it will be? What is the output circuit? This. This is the output circuit. Now apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to this output circuit. What it will be? It will be VCC minus ICRC minus, what is the voltage across this collector emitter junction? It is VCE. It is equal to 0. So apply KVL. Apply KVL to the output circuit. This implies VCC minus ICRC minus VCE, it is equal to 0. Find the value of collector current. VCC minus VCE, it is equal to ICRC. So the value of IC collector current will be VCC upon RC minus VCE upon RC. It means the value of collector current, it is less than VCC by RC. So this is the condition on the value of this collector current. And if in case the value of this collector current, it becomes equal to or greater than this VCC by RC, what will happen in that case? In that case, the output circuit will become forward biased instead of reverse biased. It means then the transistor, it will move to the saturation region, and operating point, it will shift, and it will cause the thermal runaway situation of the transistor. So to keep the transistor in the active region, so we have a condition on the collector current. This collector current, it must be less than this VCC by RC. Because if this collector current IC it becomes greater than equal to this VCC by RC, then transistor will start operating in saturation region, because output circuit will also get forward biased, and it will cause shift in operating point. So the condition to be satisfied is that this collector current, it must be less than this VCC by RC. And what is the value of collector current? What will be the condition over the base current? IC, we know that it is equal to beta IB. It is less than VCC by RC. And what will be IB? It will be less than VCC by beta RC. And from equation B, we have already derived from equation B, what is the value of IB? It is VCC by RB. From equation B, IB is equal to VCC by RB. This implies VCC by RB, it must be less than VCC by beta RC. VCC and VCC will be cancelled out, and what you will get after taking the reciprocal, that this RB, it must be greater than this beta RC. So the conditions for the stability of operating point and to avoid the thermal runaway of the transistor are that the value of this RB, it is chosen in such a way that it must be greater than the product of this beta RC factor. And this base current, it must be smaller than VCC by beta RC, and this collector current, it must be smaller than this VCC by RC. So these are the conditions to be satisfied. So now we will calculate the stability factor. We know that stability factor in case of common emitter configuration we have derived as general expression beta plus 1 upon 1 minus beta DIB by DIC. And in case of fixed biasing, by fixing the value of RB, the value of IB is also fixed and it is independent of IC. So that will make this DIB by DIC, it is equal to 0 in this case. So our stability factor S will be beta plus 1. And we know that in common emitter configuration this beta is high. It means as the stability factor S, it depends upon beta in the case of fixed biasing. So this S will also be high. And because of this high value of stability factor, it depends upon beta in the case of fixed biasing. So fixed biasing, it will not provide us the proper stability because its stability factor, it depends upon the value of beta. So it will shift the operating point. So that is why fixed biasing is not normally used. So now we will study the further methods, collector to base bias with emitter feedback. All these methods, they will have advantages over this fixed biasing method. This was the first method by using the single source supply in case of a transistor in common emitter configuration. So next we will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of this fixed biasing. What is the advantage of this fixed biasing is that here we haven't used any resistor connected to the emitter terminal. So the circuit is quite simple, and the value of RB, it can be chosen in a quite easy way. So the value of RB, it is also adjusted easily. And we have the biasing condition that RB, it must be greater than this beta RC. It can also be achieved quite easily to keep the transistor in the saturation active region and away from the saturation region. So these are the advantages of this fixed biasing, that only single resistor is used, RB, and its value, which must be greater than this beta RC, to keep the transistor in active region. It is also easily achieved. And next thing is, there is no resistor which is connected to the emitter terminal in this case. Now what are the disadvantages? Disadvantages is that as this stability factor, it depends upon beta, which is quite high. So this stability factor in this case, it will be high. So this is the first disadvantage. So if the stability factor is high, it means thermal instability of the transistor will be high. What is the meaning of that? That when you will increase the temperature, beta increases, collector current increases, and again the cumulative effect will start, which will cause the thermal runaway of the transistor. And because of that, operating point also shifts with the temperature. And operating point, it also shifts with the, because stability factor depends upon beta, when you will replace the transistor, this beta will change. And if this beta will change, then operating point will shift. Because of the shift in beta, this RB will change. If RB will change, then IB will change. If IB will change, then it will change the value of collector current IC, and which will shift the operating point. So these are the disadvantages of the fixed biasing.